And I think we are live right now to one watcher, which is probably myself because I got it up on the other screen. I always have one guy, it's just me. I'm in my own ballpark, you know. But anybody starting this on a later date via the podcast apps or anything and YouTube, go to bobbydizzle.com for all ways to watch, listen, subscribe, follow, and there'll be merch to come. I'm going to have some cool T-shirts, this logo on it. If they sell, if they don't, I'll change my logo and just run out of town. Anyway, tonight we're joined by Cyn Shrader Hill, paranormal investigator, founder of Elk Valley Paranormal in Lincoln County, Tennessee, which I can see if I look through my blinds.
It's just right up the road.
If you flash your porch light, I'll be able to see it. And they're a paranormal group who's like, I can picture every place you hang out at, every place on your page I've been by at all times of day. Paranormal group whose base centers around the old haunted Lincoln County / Fayetteville hospital up in Lincoln County, Tennessee. Short drive from where this podcast is broadcast. I wrote that before I did that sentence. They're a paranormal team a team of avid investigators devoted to determine and prove paranormal activity and find evidence to prove or disprove paranormal activity, which is, I like that because debunking is just as important as bunking.
Absolutely.
If bunking is the opposite of debunking.
Did you know
that gruntled is the opposite of disgruntled?
I did not.
Yeah, you can be gruntled. That means you're happy.
I'm going to have to use that in one of the books coming up.
I would think if there's a 7 dwarf named Gruntled, you would think he was angry. But no, he'd be the happiest of all the dwarfs.
He would be.
and you can find him at elkvalleyparanormal.com. All available in the description.
I'll have to look for him.
Yeah. It's Gruntled the dwarf. All right, I wanted to start off with the a lot of things lean heavily on the old Fayetteville / Lincoln County hospital. So what all have you done over there at that hospital?
You name it. We have tried all kinds of experiments over there. Unfortunately, it is closed still to the public. He is not allowed to have groups coming in for public or private investigations. So there's still a city issue. Hopefully that will get passed over and fixed and we can start those programs back up, because we were having people coming from all over the country and getting some great results. And this was even before Zach came. So, when
Zach was there?
Oh yeah. Zach was there.
I feel like I knew that.
Yeah. And actually, that was one of his better shows. He came in, I'll tell you about him though, and you probably can guess this already. He had a script when he came in, and we were like, you don't need one because it's really haunted in there. You don't need one. You need to go talk to the little girl and, see what you can find out from her. And after about the third person told him that, he goes, you know what? Maybe we should go in and try to see if we can contact this little girl. So he ripped up the script that he had that was all fake stuff. It was a made up story that was going to air about the old Fayetteville hospital. So just to let you guys know, I know a lot of you love Zach, but you got to watch him. I want to see his museum now. All that stuff.
That looks interesting.
It does. I'm afraid he's going to get bit from something, though.
Yeah, there's hitchhikers all over the place in there.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't bring that stuff home. That's like an old mirror. But he's just got like a haul of old mirrors.
No, yeah. And why? Just because. And he's got Kevorkian's van. And, God, there's so much he's got, especially the dolls. I would not have the dolls. That's just
surprised he's not tried to get Robert the doll or something in there.
I'm surprised.
I want him.
It seems like he tried to get Annabelle. Did he finally get her?
I think she's still up in Maine or wherever.
I think she is too. I think he did try though. But
I wouldn't want no part of those. No part of those.
No.
Robert the doll is a legit force of nature.
I don't want to be around him. Just even looking at the pictures are creepy enough.
I don't look long. What if it goes through? What if it comes through this phone or something?
And
possible.
What a lot of people don't know is that dolls were made specifically to house souls after the person died. And so they would set these dolls next to caskets in order for the soul to remain behind and stay with the family. So there's a lot of vessels with things in it, and it might not be a person.
Mm-hmm. So that's actually my last name, though.
Which one?
Doll is actually my last name, so it's
it is. It is.
I'm actually housing a person, housing a soul.
Yeah, but I think you're okay. You're okay though. Yeah.
Ours just meant good person in Germany, though. In German. I was thinking, yeah, just for the record, nobody I've ever been on this podcast ever likes Zach Bagans, so you're in good company.
I don't know. I could name one person in the last month that I talked to that adores him.
You think he's got good intentions? Or he did it at the start?
He did at the start, yeah. And then I think fame bit, and he went off the wires.
He went from season 1 to kind of like, I had him and Taps, you know, they were kind of the same. Taps always remain true. They're kind of like, reminds me of like the find evidence, debunk it just as quick as to make it true. But
exactly.
Bagan just like a fish getting a bait, just off with it. If there was a chance.
I'll tell you a little story that not a lot of people know about when he did come to the old hospital. The owner said he specifically did not want to be on camera. And what did they do? They swung the camera right at him when they started. And so he was like a deer in the headlights, and he was pissed, did not want to be on it. So he had to be there for a second. And right after that, they went into the hospital and they heard a bang. And it was the attic door upstairs that goes out. Well, not attic, the rooftop door was open. And so wind had blown it shut and caused it to bang. And of course, Zach said, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear it? Everybody hear it? We need to go up there." And the owner goes, "No, that's the door on the roof. That it just shut because of the wind." No. Did you hear it again? There it was again. And he goes, "That's the door on the roof." The third time it happened, they were headed up the stairwell to catch this entity that was banging doors upstairs. And Jamie forgot he was still wired and said, "Asshole, it's just the door." So that got cut out. His crew liked it, but I'm not sure anything was ever said, from Zach as far as that went. But yeah, it was just the door.
I need to go back and watch that because I believe I did watch it when it came out.
It was actually triggered. Yeah, he did pretty good. Now I will tell you, my verdict is still out on that shadow that they saw in the basement, because there are windows down there. Anybody can be walking around. There's always somebody walking around that thing. I think honestly it was a person outside. I do not think it was an actual shadow person. I've seen them in the hospital, but I don't think that was one. So
that's just go back and check it out.
Yeah.
That's a really what's the word? Oversaw. God, I'm losing. That's something people see a lot that's not true.
Exactly. And you got to watch, especially in like old hospitals, they're close to the road. Car headlights can hit them all the time, causing shadows to bounce off you or your team or, somebody in the group that you brought in. And it can cause weird, not really orbs, but things called death lights, little pinpoint color lights. And you have to be skeptical. You have to figure out, okay, what could that have been?
And they move like this. They move it like arcs, and they change shape as they get closer.
Exactly. On our website, elkvalleyparanormal.com, we did catch a true orb. Most orbs that you catch are dust, insects, water droplets, flares from the camera, just different things like that. But this particular orb, actually, Sean caught it. It was on Halloween night. I believe it was 2014. And he was reviewing evidence. It came out of one side and did a loop and went back into the other side. But it was to make you watch it and not pay attention to what was going across the floor, because something shoots across the floor.
Oh, it does. Holy shit. I'm sorry.
Did you just see it?
Oh,
Yeah,
right when you said
exactly.
that.
Exactly. And
Was
so
it a pixel or was it something?
it was something. We're not sure exactly what it could be. The creeper that we found also later. The creeper goes all over that hospital.
Can I show it on here?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't want to take y'all's.
Absolutely. So you'll see the orb come out, but watch
make it bigger.
toward the middle of the floor. Just disregard that orb because something goes across right there.
Ooh, it wasn't a pixel.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Almost looked like a fish flopping, but
right. It's too weird. And that's on the second floor, and it's notorious for things happening on the second floor. The other video we've got on there is for the creeper, and I've also got a still of it that you can look at to see what actually you are looking for, because he moves fast. He does not want to be seen. Billy, our camera guy, caught him on the first floor. And to me, he looks like a combination of a cross between, there's a still of him right there.
Yes.
Now come down. The purple is the full spectrum. That's the still of him. To me, he looks like a cross between the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and the Michelin Man. He's like 3.5. He's not more than 4 feet tall. He's all over that hospital, and he got caught in this video right below him that Billy caught. But he moves really fast. So that's why I've got the still up, so you know what you're looking for.
It looks like Grimace when it's in that purple.
It kind of does. And there he went. And Billy's like, I think I just caught something.
Was it at the first part?
Mm-hmm. And there he's gone.
Oh, yeah.
He does not want to be seen. And again, that thing is all over the hospital. He's everywhere. He goes not just on the first, but that was caught in the crossroads of the first floor.
Let me see. Ooh,
yeah.
Wow. The creeper.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was the best I could come up with for the name.
That checks out.
Right? Yeah, we've had a lot of
scratches.
Happened a lot up there.
There you go. I had a medium on here was telling me that she investigated a few times. There were demon reports with the scratches, and it turned out to be cats that were dead. They were scratching the people. That's one of my favorite paranormal stories.
Really?
She goes, a lot of times it's just a dead cat. It's not a demon.
What?
I don't know.
Wow.
Take it for what it's worth. I think it's a funny anecdote.
That's awesome, though.
Imagine we're haunted by a demon. Just a cat.
It could very well be. We had a cat here at the house for a while, and it was before I actually moved one of my cats in. And this cat jumped up on the bed and would go around and get settled and then be gone. It was gone. But we had that cat for quite a while. So you got all kinds of ghosts. When I first got involved in investigating, I had this group, Ghost Hunters of Southern Tennessee, that their founders are James Jones and Wayne Baker out of McMinnville. They came down and investigated my mom and dad's old store, which was Shrader Auto Parts. And it was after my dad had died in 2001. And Mom and Susan, my sister, tried to keep the place open, but because they were women, a lot of people did not want to buy from women, so they started going to O'Reilly's and even Walmart and that kind of stuff. So they just couldn't keep it open, and utilities were turned off. So when I had them down in 2013, the utilities had been turned off at least 2 years prior, so there was nothing on. It had been cleaned out. My husband cleaned it out completely, and there was nothing there. no furniture, nothing. So they came in, and I wanted to see if my dad was still down there because they had that business for over 30 years. And I figured as much time as he spent down there, he might still be there. The building itself, the basement part, used to be street level, and it was from the late 1800s when it was a turkey slaughterhouse. The upper part, which became street level, was everything from a Red Cross building to a furniture store, a dairy, ice cream plant, not just a dairy, and then some other things. But then Dad had it and had the big part store. Interestingly enough, there were 2 EVPs that they got that night, and this was my first time being around a team to actually, other than what you see on TV. I was the trigger object because that was my dad. So I was able to get him to talk and everything. And the only place their K2 ever lit up in the whole darn place was exactly where his desk chair sat for so many years. That was the only place. And again, there were no utilities on there.
And this is at your old auto parts store that your family owned?
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
That's interesting.
Right. And it was exactly where his desk chair sat. They had 2 EVPs that they got. One was a strange holy mackerel, which nobody in my family ever used. And really, when you think about it, that's kind of an old saying. So I'm thinking it either came from the ice cream plant or even before. And they had one EVP from the basement, and it was turkeys clucking. So we had turkey ghosts.
That's got to be a first.
And so I got hooked. I was hooked right there. I've got to start learning how to find these EVPs and join their team right away. And they kind of trained me, and then I broke off from them with my own team.
We had a question from the audience.
Awesome.
He was asking how you got all the EVPs from the website. So it fits right in there.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lionel. Right? Lionel Ray Green. I started, yes. I have my little digital recorder that I take everywhere. And now I actually have 3 of them. So one I can keep running as long as I want. One I can do burst on, and I've got a backup. But once I get everything recorded, I bring it home and load it onto my computer into an Audacity program and try to find anything I can. Of course, you're always looking for the Class A's, the one that there is no doubt in your mind what they're saying. Everybody is agreeing on the same words, and those are the standard. That's what you want. Do you get them all the time? Nope, you don't get them all the time. So sometimes you have to dig a little bit. So all of those EVP recordings on the website are actually in this book. So it's the 3rd book I wrote, which is They're Speaking, Are You Listening? My Most Compelling EVPs. And you can actually go through this book. And when you come to an EVP, it's on the website in the evidence section under They're Speaking. So we've got a hospital evidence section, and we've got a They're Speaking evidence section. And all of the EVPs in that book, and there are over 100 of them, you can go as you're reading each chapter to each one. There they are. You can listen to every one of them. Some of them you're going to have to listen to probably quite a bit. Other ones, there's a few Class A's. Like the first one I ever got at the old hospital was a Class A. And was that very first one.
They always say that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that at all.
No, and they were very emphatic. Get out. Very enunciated.
That sounds like a turn of the century voice.
Right?
Where everybody sound like still kind of English.
Uh-huh.
Get out. I heard you say, watch it, Mom. It kind of scared me. Watch it, Mom. Oh my God.
Right.
I was looking at where the hospital actually was, so I know I know exactly where that is.
Up on an old hill.
Yeah, whenever we come back from Nashville, we go that way.
Do you?
Yeah, you come down Davy Crockett and take a right there at that intersection and come back through to get to 431. Because keep in mind, I live like right off 431 for all intents and purposes, 8 miles from it. That's because it loops around through the hills and stuff. But
right.
I looked at it first time. It said the Lincoln County Health System. It took me over there to the other side of town, the old hospital. I'm like, that's not it.
No, that's the new one, and it got hit. I guess it was yesterday is when we had the tornadoes, or the day before.
Yeah,
anyway,
it did,
all my days were together. It got hit. I don't know exactly the extent to it, but that new one got hit a little bit.
Now we went to it was like a giant family-owned buffet over there.
Marvin's.
Yeah, Marvin's. Yep. I was going to say about freaked out because I saw Marvin's right up from it. I'm like, how did I miss that? I'm like, no, it's just me. Hey, Marvin's ain't no joke.
No, they got some good. Their chicken's good. I like their fried chicken now.
I ain't never seen nothing like it. We went up to Uncle Julio's for our 10-year anniversary in Brentwood, and because they got that big chocolate pinata.
Oh,
and, yeah. You ever heard of that?
No, but yeah, I need to.
They dip this form into chocolate, and it comes out like a pinata, about as big as one of those Pizza Hut basketballs. And they give you a little tire checker, and you bust it, and there's churros in it.
Stop it!
Yeah, it's insane.
I'm gonna have to go.
Brentwood, too. It's not far from where you're at.
I'm gonna have to. My stepson.
You got to make a reservation.
I bet we could do it.
It's awesome. Like right. You pass by. I want to say like Reba or Jody Messina's farm on the way.
Oh, really?
It's that part. It's part of Tennessee where all the country singers live.
Okay.
But yeah, and we came back down and went through the Amish country and got some peanut brittle and stuff in Lawrenceburg. And we stopped by Marvin's on the way home.
I would have gotten some fudge from them, not some peanut brittle or some cookies.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we got a bunch of stuff. But this was March. This was March of 2020. So like I got back the next week and they almost sent me home because I traveled. I'm like I went to Nashville. I'm like, that's the same virus y'all got. It's on an interstate.
Yeah, that's when all hell broke loose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's exactly March 2020 was when all hell broke loose.
So I remember in my mind the last normal time I had in my life was in the Amish, and it was Brentwood and Marvin's. Like I remember it like it's Disney World. And that's like in my mind, it's like the last semblance of greatness is those places.
Right. Now you're making me hungry for fried chicken too.
Yeah, and the catfish they bring out.
Yeah, and it's all good. All of it. Good country cooking.
Saw people fighting over the last something. I can't remember what it was. They were getting mad at each other. So that's like right there.
If you wait long enough, they'll bring more out. But
yeah, I mean, it's coming.
Sometimes not fast enough.
I know that it's dark in that parking lot. There's no lights. They don't tell you that.
That is true. That is true.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of things because I was looking at land up here actually.
Oh, were you?
I'm saving for a small farm, and Kelso area is one of the Kelso / Winchester / Huntland areas in my purview.
Just know that the Kelso area, there is a little dead spot that you go through. So depending on your radio and all that kind of stuff and your streaming, you got to be kind of careful right through there because there is some dead spots.
Oh, yeah. It's inside of a holler.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's really pretty.
Oh, yeah. I would live there in a heartbeat. And so I live off Winchester Road, which goes up to Huntland, straight to Huntland. Right. Yep. And I guess Flint, I'm looking at it right here. Flintville's just up from Elora. Mm-hmm. And so you take that road at Elora, there's a chevron, and it kind of does like a compass, and does that all the way up to the dam where you put your kayaks in.
Yeah.
So I use that one.
Okay.
And you can generally, I'm well versed in driving on country roads, just not those. So I know how to handle and what to look for. Generally, you can cut the trip off by like 15 minutes going that way.
Mm-hmm.
We go up to the dam a lot and paddle all the way to can't think of what it's called, but it's close to where you're at. No, I can't think of what it's called. We're up to Elk River all the time.
Oh yeah.
My dad's trying to buy like an acre up there.
Awesome. Have you done the Elk River canoe?
I haven't done it with them, but I have canoed it from the dam for about 8 hours.
Woo!
Yeah, my whole family will get together on 4th of July. I don't know why I can't think of that spring, because like any other day I'd be like, yeah, well.
You'll think of it as soon as you're trying to go to sleep.
Ferris Creek Road.
You got it?
Yeah, I thought of it right when I said that. I was going to call it St. Clair, but that's the road just out here.
Okay.
Anyway, enough about stuff that no one else knows what we're talking about.
Well, and now you can sleep tonight too. You won't be worried about that.
Yeah. When I was in college, well, I guess the guy's still alive, but the guy that owns the farm just the other side of the river would let my dad and his friends camp in his little area that he had next to the river. And so it was like your own private vacation spot.
Nice.
And they took me up there summer when I was in college, and I was just like, what am I doing with my life? I gotta go back to the city after this. Can't handle it.
And I tell you though, my idea of camping is Hotel 6.
Yeah, I'm about like that now in my old age.
That's a camp to me.
I like to you live in kind of an area too that you can drive 3 hours and do about anything. Anything
you want to do. Exactly.
And all the hiking trails that Huntsville has. And I'm like, I don't want to stay out here.
Right.
I'll hurt myself to get back to my bed. I've driven to the Smokies in a day and came back before.
Oh, in a day?
Yeah, we've definitely driven to Knoxville and come back in the same day. So it's not too much farther to Gatlinburg.
That's true, but that's a long drive just for a day.
It was. It was the entire day. Went up there to eat at Calhoun's.
Did you? I love the Gatlinburg area. Pigeon Forge is unbelievably grown. Just unbelievable.
I've wondered if those places in what was that? Sorry.
Huntsville has too. Huntsville is growing like crazy.
Huntsville's full.
It is.
That's the reason my next move is full-time telework. I'm not going back in.
You know, a lot of people are going to that, and most of my business is online. So I go in twice a week into Fayetteville to teach a couple of classes. Other than that, I do everything at home.
Good old Fayetteville.
A lot of people have gone to that since that infamous March 2020. Mm-hmm. So it completely changed a lot of things.
I was doing it a lot more until everybody started coming back to work, and then start breaking stuff on site. Now I got to come in, and it's paranoid. If I stay home, something breaks. If I don't, everything's good. That's how it goes.
Exactly.
Who else we have here? Got some comments. I thought they were talking to me. Oh, we got Joey Hayes from Ireland. Said happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
We got a lot of foreigners here. We got welcome to the show. Wow. Portugal. Are you from Portugal or Portugal or UK? Welcome. I don't know. Probably nice. Arizona. Scotty B was just doing the Bigfoot podcast with somebody else.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a co-host that I love to death, but I think his life has taken another direction, so he's not here tonight. But I always send him an invitation. I keep waiting on him to show up. I'm like a Delta Dawn, just hanging around with the wedding dress on. Come on, man.
Was that the one that you tagged?
Yeah, I always tag him. But all these people came here because he used to be my co-host, so I kind of adopted him. He was a good guy. He's a biologist. He will take the paranormal and kind of put like a scientific spin on it about ways to encounter it.
Nice.
We've had hours of conversation about what would happen if you think you're about to see a ghost or a UFO or like a cryptid. What to do? Just stay calm, accept it.
And that's kind of hard to do. Staying calm, for one thing, because you get excited about what you're seeing. And a lot of times with ghost hunting, people will start seeing things out of the corner of their eye, and once they turn, there's nothing there. Mm-hmm. It's hard not to turn your head. It's so hard not to, and just see if they would stay a little bit longer. Because I mean, that's the first thing you do. You look.
That'd be tough to do.
It is tough. It's way tough. I haven't conquered that.
Yeah, I haven't conquered the need to like get scared for no reason. And I kind of practice it at work, and that's sounds funny, but like when we first moved into our building, nobody sat there but us 6 or 8 people. And if we knew if somebody was there, we knew they were there. Like, they're not going to hide from us. And I heard somebody typing, you know how people typing sounds. Mm-hmm. And so I start talking. The person's behind me. I start talking, just having a conversation. And I get up to go. I think I was about to go to the bathroom, but I got up and walked over there and talked. And he wasn't there. Something else was typing on his keyboard.
Really?
And I swear to God, I said, okay, it just happened. And there's no way it was anything else. And so I walked out and everybody came back. I said, y'all, something was typing on Dave's keyboard. And I was talking to it. I walked back there like I was having a talk to him, and he wasn't there. I was the only one in the room.
Wow. And you know, those are the times that you don't have a camera set up.
No, and I can't. I'm on the military base.
Yeah, no, you couldn't. No.
I can't. I'm the AV guy, but I can't like record things inside unless somebody asked me to.
Man,
and then fast
awesome.
forward. Yeah, it really was. But fast forward to 6 weeks ago, our door shuts because we have special things in there. It locks, and you have to have a card to get in. And the night guards are making a pass, and he said it sounded like somebody was wearing a keyboard out, typing a report, but the lights were off. And this is 10 o'clock at night. They shut the building down at 9. This is his last thing. He went and got another guard just to confirm it.
Somebody was working. Somebody was making a hell of a report.
Oh yeah. And another caveat, another factor is my other coworker, her mom is clairvoyant. She's a medium. She's astro projected. Please don't, like, I've met this lady. They're not lying to me. So I'm freaking out because either they're crazy and being really good at it or it's real. And she said, well, sometimes I see things walk in front of me in here. And I'm like, yeah, you see things. You see like something walk in front of my monitor. Like my monitor's like right here. And I think, like, who's in here? Mm-hmm. It happens once a month at least. She goes, yeah, sometimes I see something walk by me and just stop.
Will it be in reflection that you see it?
No, it's just like
something like actually is in front of you.
Yeah, it's like another person walked into the room and went to the fridge. Like the fridge is in front of me. And they walk in, and people walk in and go to the fridge all the time to get a water. But I see it like nobody's there. I don't even think anything about it anymore. She'll see it. She'll see him walk in and walk by, and about everybody that's worked there for any amount of time has felt somebody walk by. I just have fun with it now. Now, when I'm in the room, there is an instance where I have to go into a locked room and shut the door and turn the light off to see something, just to get, because I have to confirm a lot of things with lasers.
Yeah.
It's just the way fiber works. And I'm like, don't touch me. I'll say it. I'm like, don't touch me. I walk in, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
And have you gotten touched?
No. I'll just say it. I'm like, don't touch me. But we're cool. I've had 2 mediums on the show. Yeah.
You know it's going to happen.
I've had 2 mediums on the show. Whether or not they were cold reading me, whether or not, that's beside the fact. Anybody that comes on this show, what they say is 100% fact until the show ends. And that's just how I play it. It's real. Suspension of disbelief if it's fake. I don't care. The one said, and this is what got me. My coworkers are like, that's not what it was. It's clearly this. I'm like, yeah, but she saw that. I asked her, I said, my building haunted? We think it's haunted. Can you tell me anything about it? The first thing she said was blinking lights. And freaked me out. That day the power went off. When the power goes off, it comes back on and the lights blink for an hour. And she said, I'm like, how the hell? Uh-huh. I'm like, well, they said it's not ghosts doing it. It's the ballast. I'm like, yeah, but she said blinking lights.
Yeah. How did she know that?
Yeah, but whether or not that's a key, I mean, ghosts do blink lights.
And
whether or not she was fishing, I don't know.
Maybe.
But when she said when that was the first thing she said and it happened that day, I freaked out a little.
Yeah, I can see that.
She said it was a bunch of kids that lived there, and there was a priest and a bunch of old women that tended to the kids, and the kids were playful and they mess with things, and they all gather in one spot and cause a lot of energy sometimes to have to mess up. That was it. A lot of cold reading going on. It's a old Southern plantation place. So she said that she saw a slave with a rope around its neck. I'm like, okay, that's a bit. And she's going to try to get him to pass over. I really like the lady. I like to have her back on.
Did she get him passed over?
I don't know. I never talked to her after that. I might talk to her again.
You like actually I said, I don't reminded me of something from this last book. This last book actually was kind of thrown in my lap. I don't really know why, but I was compelled to write a book about our loved ones coming back. So this is my 4th book. And all the other 3 books are scary stories, things that have happened to me and or my team and or friends. Whispers in the Dark was the first one, and it's 23 short stories that most of them are here in Lincoln County that have happened. 5 of them are outside the county, 2 in Lynchburg. So you got that area. And then I wanted They're Speaking to be the first one, my first book, but I couldn't figure out how to do the EVPs until later. So I got that come out as the 3rd. But this 4th book was signs from beyond, our loved ones reaching out to us and coming back and doing things, or deathbed experiences or near-death experiences and things like that. And I had people, I even got one from England. This girl sent a story to me that she wanted to include. It was about her grandfather and his cat, and she ended up adopting his cat. And both of them came back and left signs for her. So it's something like that. But you reminded me of this one story that Katie Richter sent me. Her mother, I believe, was a nurse, and she titled it Go to Bed. And it was on this hospital ward that a little girl had died, right? So one night, they were having trouble with the light going off and the call light. So they would go, the nurse would go down to the call light that came on. The room was empty. She went back, sat down. As soon as she sat down, the call light came on again, the same room. And nobody's in there. So she goes back, another call light goes off. She goes down the hall to it. It's another empty room. Nobody's in it. So she comes back and she says, "What is going on?" And she's told there's a little girl that died here and she likes to play with lights. Just tell her to go to bed. So the next time it happened, then it went off within a few seconds after that story. And she goes down the hall and she says, "All right, it's past midnight, go to bed." And they didn't have the problem after that.
I don't know if I'd be able to handle it.
Right. I'm telling you, some of the stories that I got are incredible. This a friend of mine I went to school with all the way through school. He was a year younger than I am, Kenny, and he sent me 2. One was a near death. One was this incredible story about a dog coming back, and he actually works with horses all the time, and they were at a camp for underprivileged kids. And so part of the camp at the end is they break the kids up into teams, and one team will go horseback riding, one will go do something else, So he had the group horseback riding, and there to the campfire that they were going to eat at and then come back was supposed to be 3 hours, maybe not that long even. But he gets on the horse. He's leading 15 people behind him, mostly inexperienced riders. Their first time on the horse was this week at camp. And he's starting through the woods. It's not dark yet, but he comes through the path through the woods, and there's a tree down, so they can't continue on that particular path, and he's got to go around and find another path to get to their campsite. And so they did. And another tree is down a little farther on. Now he's got to find another way through. And it's starting to get dark. And if you've been in the woods when it's starting to get dark, it's already dark.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's been dark for an hour and a half.
Exactly.
Your eyes just don't know it yet.
No. So he's on this horse. He's got these 15 people behind him, one other adult at the end to bring up the rear. And he can't see hardly anything right now. And he's trying to make his way through the woods. And all of a sudden he sees movement, and he looks down, and there is a black dog. So not only is he in the woods at dark, but he sees a black dog in the woods at dark. And he thinks, at first, maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me, but no, this dog, and this is the weird part, this dog gets a message to him, telepathy, little telepathy going on, which is the strange part. Yes. And the dog just says, follow me. And he started watching this dog. And within seconds, they come out at the campsite. And he turns around, and the dog's not there. So they eat and do everything. Their radios had gone out. They had no walkie-talkies. So they couldn't tell people they were lost. When they got back to the main campground, people were coming up saying, where were you? It's 5 hours. 5 hours have passed. We've been looking for you. You wouldn't answer the radio. He said, they wouldn't work. No radios were working. We got lost, and I couldn't let the kids know they were lost. And the horses were getting a little antsy too. So, you got to keep your head. He said, I saw this dog. And the girl that he was talking to said, you saw it? And he said, wait a minute. Why do you say it like that?
Oh, one of those stories.
Yeah.
You saw the dog.
He goes, I saw it, but what are you getting at? She said that years and years ago, before this was campground for underprivileged kids, an old blind man lived on the property and had a seeing eye dog. After he died, the seeing eye dog, of course, was around a little bit longer. When the seeing eye dog died, he came back, and now he helps people that are lost.
I thought you were going to say they lost time, and like it was only been 30 minutes, something like that.
He didn't know it had been 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
He thought there was only, 2.5 to 3 that had gone by, but it was 5 hours later that they came back. So that kind of freaked him out a little bit. But the fact that the dog disappeared after he got him to the camp, and then he turned around and there was no dog, and he looked for it. It was not there. So spirit dog, absolutely. Absolutely. And evidently when someone is lost on this particular property, and I'm sure there's others out there, different spots that will help someone in trouble and lead them back to where they're supposed to be.
That's a handy piece of equipment to have on hand.
Right.
Especially at the summer camp.
Exactly.
If you get lost, you'll see a dead dog, just follow the dog.
Hopefully you'll come out where you're supposed to.
I wonder if that's anything like the old, what's it called? Demortris Deo. Meritus. Day of the Dead. Where they all have their spirit guides. Yeah, Angel Wings. Angel Wings is big into the tarot and stuff. Well, I keep wanting to have her on. I forget that I want to ask her to have her on until she comments my crap.
Right. But, and she needs to be, because she's talking about tarot reading.
Oh, yeah.
And everything. And spirit animals.
More interested in mine.
I think she was reading your mind.
Yeah, I said her stuff's much more interesting than mine. She actually have a niche. I sit over here and just like, tell me when you saw a ghost. What was that like?
Right.
You ever have that Holy Grail full body apparition?
I only in reflection. I have seen full shadow figures, but never a full body apparition. I have seen the most beautiful redhead ghost in my life. This girl was gorgeous, and she was dressed in a ball gown with a scarf around her neck that hung down her back. Beautiful long red hair, and she just drifted behind me. I was looking in the reflection at this was at a residence. They were having some things happen. And when I saw her, of course, the first thing I did was turn to look at her, and she wasn't there. My friend said, "You saw something." And I said, "Who's the redhead?" And she said, "You saw the redhead?" And I said, "She's beautiful, whoever she is." She said, "That's my husband's mother." And what she had done is appeared the way she wanted to appear, because of course she was an older woman when she died, but she went back to probably, I don't know, before she was 30, I'd say. So somewhere 20 to 30 years old, because this woman was beautiful. And of course, there, as soon as I turned around, she was gone.
Reflection. That'd be, so it was in a mirror. You saw her.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the reflection through. They had this big flat screen that was off, and I mean, it was the clearest reflection. It's just somebody was walking behind me, full body.
It's like right here.
Yes, just right behind my chair. And as they went, I looked and they were gone. The freakiest thing I've ever seen was not human. It was in reflection. It was at an old business here in town. And again, in reflection, I was at this old desk. I told him, I said, "Leave me alone. You guys go talk in the kitchen, and I want to see if he will do what he did to scare your customer the other day." So I stayed. I popped open a Sundrop, and I'm playing solitaire. And
hang on.
Yeah, just hang
you didn't say Sundrop in Southern Tennessee.
Right. Everybody knows what it is now, though. But
just pass the vibe check. I know that you're not. I know you're not an FBI agent, because that's
Yep. Sundrop.
That's your passport for Fayetteville.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry. That killed me.
No worries. But had my recorder on, and it was going, and I heard something really weird, and a couple of knocks, and I said, "You can do better than that. I heard you slap the counter and scared a person. I heard you slam the door and scared a person. So you can do something better than just tapping on the wall. That's not going to do it for me." And a couple more taps, and I said, kind of taunting, but not provoking, that's still not going to be enough for me to know that you're here. You're going to have to prove yourself a little bit more. And so, the clock, they had this bird clock that, when it hits the hour, it goes a certain bird. And these were like hunting birds. So one particular bird had the weirdest call I've ever heard. It just sounded like a time bomb getting ready to go off. And I looked up at the clock and went, "Well, that was interesting." Yeah, but that wasn't paranormal. And I looked down to check my recorder to make sure it was going. And I see this thing, this black, cloudy thing with eyes over the top of my head. And it's just passing over as I'm watching it, looking in the reflection of this real shiny desk. And I leaned back and did this, because I was thinking, WTF? What was that?
Just crossed the line, didn't it?
It was like a black, cloudy mass with eyes. And to bring out my Southern Belle, I have never in my life seen anything like that. I declare. So
Start
I looked
patting
it up.
yourself.
Of course, it's not there. As soon as I look up, it's not there. But the EVP I got later said it was me. It was me. So it was the thing that had been tormenting the customers. Crazy looking though. Crazy looking.
Yeah, that's I was worried it was going to be demonic for a second.
No, no. I have never run into anything demonic. I have run into things that are pranksters and things that want to appear like they're aggressive, but nothing
Hmm.
demonic ever. And I don't want to. I don't want to.
No, that's what's keeping me out of the game, honestly.
I don't want to. I'm good with the things I've seen. I had a friend that went to or talked to a residence that they had a problem. And I can't really go into detail about where and all that, but it was around, I can just say it was around the War Trace area.
Hmm.
But it was a house, and the mother lived there with her daughter. The daughter got possessed, really possessed. And my friend talked to them about it and wanted to go into the house. And she said, well, the priest said it needs to calm down before you can come in. And so just let it calm down. She sent him a video and he let me listen to it. It was just like one of those little cams, little ring cams you can set up anywhere.
Hmm.
And she had it in, I believe it was her living area, and it just kind of panned back and forth. And all you could hear was this growling at different levels. It was like different tones of growls and just guttural, kind of
Hmm.
creepy. I mean, just it gave me chills. And I thought, no, that's a little bit too much for me. That's where I don't want to go. And he goes, I can get you in. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to pass on that. I really do. I don't feel safe and I don't feel comfortable enough to go up against anything like that ever. I don't want to. It was not too long after, and it makes me wonder. I don't know. I have no idea. But he was a good guy, and a relatively young guy. But he died of a massive heart attack not soon after. So I don't know if he got bit by that, if he actually went into that house, before he took somebody with him or anything. I don't know, but he's not allowed to talk about it now. So that freaks me out a little bit.
I've heard of that more than once. People just the next day they didn't make it.
Yeah, and I've got too much to do. I've got way too much I'd rather do than come up against
demons are a thumbs down.
I'm telling you, I'm not up for those.
Oh, who was it, man? Oh yeah, Glenn Jackson. He was a guest. He has his own show or something, but he did investigations and knew two people that went into a portal. I know that sounds kind of woo woo, but there was a portal opened up, and one of them two people like went into it and came out. One died of cancer, one's terminally ill now.
What?
I may have that half wrong. One did die of cancer very shortly after, and the other one is sick too.
So when you say go into the portal, did they go into a different dimension? Were they just standing by the portal? What was happening there?
I'll have to look at it again, but he's told the story a couple of times, and they went in, and I can't remember if I asked him what happened when they went in, but yeah, they went into it. I can't remember. Man, now I tell the story, I sound like a idiot because I can't remember.
No. I do the same thing. The interesting thing about portals is that they're popping up everywhere now. And one reason, and whenever I talk to people, I say, please close your investigations, close your communication. So anytime you speak to a spirit, even if you're at home and you go, oh, I think I just heard a knock. Is somebody here? You're opening up communication, and you also need to close that communication. And by the way, you shouldn't be doing that in your own house anyway.
Don't want them in the house.
No.
That's worst case scenario.
I'm telling you. And some people watch enough of the fun shows on TV about the paranormal and think that they know what they're doing and get a piece of equipment and start using it and then wonder why things ramp up. Well, it's because you started it. You started it, and now they really want to talk. And some of them you don't want to talk to.
Yeah, even the worst of the non-demonic is still bad. I don't want a part of the crazy mischievous ones.
No. And there's some that are bullies. They're bullies. They're nothing but, if kind of like my friend Eric says, and he's got a podcast of his own, Unseen Paranormal. But he says that, yeah, he's great. That if you were nasty in life, most likely you're going to be nasty as a ghost. And he's right. He's right. And I don't like bullies. I don't like being around. A lot of times you can tell you're around one if you walk into a spot and you immediately have a headache or pressure on the chest or dizzy. And you just, get off me. Get off me. I'm not playing that.
Start feeling sick.
Yeah.
I hear a lot. Wait a minute. Is it Eric Freeman Sims?
Yeah.
He's next week. He's Wednesday.
He's fantastic. You'll love him. You will love
all these people. Okay.
He's fantastic.
You just said Eric. I'm like, wait a minute. It sounds really familiar.
Yeah. He invited me along with a girl from PPF Investigations, Regina, and Medics for Paranormal, Lee, to be their guest investigator at Thomas House last weekend. So I got to go up there and play, and it was fun. It was fun. I'd never been there.
Yeah, the medic guys are always fun.
Yeah. He actually has lots and lots of stories himself. And he sent me one of his stories for this last book about his dog Chase. So I have his story in there. And I also have the girl Regina that I spoke of. She sent in a story about her sister. So stories from everywhere.
That's the craziest part to me, is that it's real and these people aren't lying, and it flattens me. Because I remember when I first started doing the podcast, I started getting people that did interesting things. I had people make good hot sauce, and it just wasn't, it's like all over the place. And I started like reaching out to paranormal people more, and they seemed more ready to talk. And so I got a bunch of them, and then I'm like, man, is this stuff real?
Right.
Because I wanted it to be.
You have to be skeptical, though. You have to be. And anything that happens, you've got to look to see if there's any way at all that it could have been caused by something natural. Something fell. Was the picture too heavy?
The attic door flapping.
Yeah, exactly. The old hospital, anything. You always have to look for things like that. And when you can't find something that might have caused it, you still don't know for sure that it's paranormal. We don't know. We know that at that moment, it could be paranormal, but we can't tell you for sure, because this is not an exact science. No. And we're a long way off from being an exact science. And there's still so much to learn, and whether or not we're going to learn it, who knows? But, like I said, those portals are popping up everywhere. So
that's a lot more about them lately.
Yes. And it's not good, because when they aren't closed, when a session is not closed, those doors remain open, and you don't want some of that stuff to come through. You just don't. Some of it is nasty, some of it is worse than a bully. Some of it is wants to scare you. And you might have a couple of nice ones and some pets and whatever come through, but you can't pick and choose.
It could be from anywhere.
Yeah. And people are always talking about how bad Ouija boards are. Well,
yeah.
A Ouija board and a voice recorder when you're asking questions are the very same thing.
Yep.
A pendulum, same thing as a Ouija board. A ghost detector on your phone, if you use one of those little apps, same thing. It's a Ouija board. It's an open communication line to the spirit world. And
is it really? I didn't think about the apps like that. I just thought they were just crap.
Eric actually uses one, and get him to talk about it because it's pretty interesting. It's called Necrophonics, I think, and it's a pretty wicked little app. Now, you have to pay for it. Some of those ones that you can just download, no, they're not worth crap.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of randomized signals.
I think they are too. And really, when you think about it, if you're using other ghost equipment, you shouldn't have your cell phone on because that can cause some of the equipment to go off. So it needs to be on airplane mode. Eric can use that Necrophonics app on airplane mode. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's a wicked
that's
little.
That's not the first I've heard of it. Now you're saying that.
I'm
the airplane mode thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Angel Wings had another one. Ask your guardians to close the portals. Ask your guardians or guides. We were in Target today, and I said, where are the Ouija boards at? I'm going to get one and leave the planchette on it. Just let it sit there overnight, see what happens. The thing you're not supposed to do.
Yeah. Don't do it at your house.
No. Did you ever see Paranormal Activity? What?
I've seen all of those.
I've never been so scared of a movie in my entire life. Well, maybe Strangers.
And I've not seen that one. I love scary movies, but I've not seen Strangers.
I watched it in theaters, and I was sitting beside my friend's wife. She was over here, and he was on the other side. She was sitting there crying. I'm looking at her. I said, I'm scared too. This is the scariest. She's going, whoo, whoo, whoo. I'm like, yeah, it's awful. I went out of this movie theater.
And then she had to try to sleep that night. See, that's when those lights go out and you're trying to rest. And you think about, okay, I'm kind of hot and I'm kind of cold, so I put one foot out. But do I want to leave that foot out under the cover because something could grab it?
I remember watching Paranormal Activity with my friend from back home, and it's when I first moved to Huntsville. And he came over to my house before going back to Scottsboro, and I said, no, you're going to stay here for about an hour. I said, we're going to watch TV as something else or play NCAA on Xbox. And because I gotta calm down. Dude, I was ready to freaking I was stoked. I don't know what happened.
Those movies are wicked. They are wicked.
Mm-hmm.
I like them.
I had a bootleg copy of it, and I was watching it, and the ice maker went off, and I about came unglued. I mean, I was freaking. I had to turn the lights on.
Wow.
There such a girl when it comes in.
No. It sounds like that's normal. But one of the pieces of equipment my co-founder Sean has is an SLS. That's the stick figures that you can see, right? I love those. Eric, not so much, but you can talk to him about that Wednesday. But
what are they supposed to do?
You can.
I've seen them do just like all these little things.
Yeah,
next to you like this.
Right. Figures, just figures, like a face and a boxed body or a triangular body or something with arms and legs, and you can see these things moving. my my co-founder Sean knew something was in his apartment that or the house he rents. So he's the one that has the SLS, and he said, "Cyn, please come out here and tell me what is out here. Do your shit. Just bring your recorder, do all that kind of stuff. Just come out and tell me. And might not just bring your sage because I want you to go ahead and bless it and get rid of this." So his brother was also there, and his brother was holding the SLS. I was trying to figure out exactly what was going on. Sean was trying, he was letting us do stuff. He would ask a few questions, but his brother goes, "Oh, you're not going to believe this one." And he did this to me. So I come over, look over his shoulder, and Sean is sitting across the room on a couch, directly across from him, where the camera was aimed, the SLS camera was aimed, was the love seat. And there was a reclined figure that I swear to you looked like it was jerking off.
Whoa.
Swear to you. And I go, "Sean, oh Lord, Sean, this have you been doing anything weird in the living room?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Have you been kissing any girl or anything?" He goes, "No, not in here. I mean, well, it might start in here." And I said, "Well, you got somebody in here that likes it, I think." And he comes up and goes, "Oh, hell no." Yeah. So that's one thing that I haven't seen before or since, is something like that. It was a happy ghost, Scotty. It was a happy ghost.
A lot of times they're just standing there, and it could be like, I always think it's just like the light in the room maybe has a differential, but you can't fake that.
No, it was
very specific move.
Extremely specific. And it was working. It was going to town. Let me just tell you, it was going to town. So Sean said, please bless this place. I don't need that around here." So
how does that even happen?
Why was it there? Why? I mean, that's why I said, "Sean, have you been doing anything in here?"
Well, what kind of house did he live in?
It was an old property that they had built a rental house on. So there was a well house next to it. And so that part was really old. The whole property was an old property, but what they had built and Sean was renting was new. But something had moved in to watch a few things, evidently. Or maybe watch some of the movies with him. Who knows? Who knows why that one came in? But
what my initial thought was, like, what if it's like it knows you're watching him, so it's just doing that?
And it could have been.
Because if I was a ghost,
would you have done something like that?
I would do like always. I'd be like, yeah, I'd look like some Dumb and Dumber stuff.
Like, I'm afraid I probably too. Yeah, and I know Sean would. If Sean was a ghost, I know he would mess with people. I know he would. So, yeah,
just like the brothers on Casper. They always did funny stuff.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it since. So, and it was only that one time.
That took a turn. I wasn't ready for that. I thought you were going to say like there was like 6 of them sitting next to each other or something watching him.
No.
They were watching him.
I apologize to any of your listeners that weren't ready for that. But
not the weirdest thing we've heard on here, but wow.
You never know what you're going to see.
Scotty asked if it left. I'm like, yeah, she got rid of it.
Something is still there, but he doesn't think it's the same thing. He thinks it's actually his dad that has come in and to see him, but that was not his dad. That was not his dad. No.
Hello. Not my real mom. Step brother, you got caught in the dryer.
So what else you want to talk about then? We got
I don't know. That took a turn.
jerking off ghosts.
No, I'm going to put on TikTok now. It's going to be.
Oh, me. I'm going to get the footage from Sean. That I actually need to post that. But
yeah, that's I was going to ask where you were on the cryptid front. My favorite subject.
Which specific cryptids?
The Bigfoot. Bigfoot's my favorite, hands down.
I believe that there really are things like that out there. I think my personal belief is that they are from a different dimension and can slip into a different dimension immediately, so that when you are looking for them, you can't find them. That's why we've never seen bones and, things like that. They don't leave them. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I've had one guy say that he held a Bigfoot skull in northern Montana.
Really?
At an out of the way shop. And yeah, he said it was the craziest thing he'd ever seen. That one guy out in the woods. Yeah, it was wild.
Did you believe it was a real one?
Him? I mean, well, he was in. I believe the guy thought it was.
Yeah.
It was a story, but like a skull like that in northern Montana would just be. It's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all over the world, and they're called different things, of course.
Yowie.
Yeah.
Hairy man.
Exactly. And, even Mothman and all these other strange things, Slender Man, whatever. I think they're all interdimensional things that can move through whatever. And my really good friend Mark Fultz is the medium that I go to and do a lot of work with. And he's told me that one of the very best places to see any kind of interdimensional slip is in the woods. All those trees, and everything starts looking the same, and you can see something and then it's not there. Yeah. So,
and the farther you get from trees, the closer they get together.
Yeah. So, and he actually thought that the black dog story I told you might have been a time slip, might have been, an interdimensional slip.
That's what it felt like. Because if he thought it was 3 hours and turned out to be 5, that's typical. Especially if it didn't get any darker.
Right.
It didn't get any darker
It was pitch. It was pitch. We had a time warp incident at the old hospital on the second floor. Really? It was Sean was lead. We had a public group, about 30 people. So we were dividing up into 10 per group. And me and another teammate were staying on the first floor and doing the emergency room and the maternity ward. Sean and Matthew and Yoda were going up on 2 and doing two's notorious for all kinds of weird happenings. A lot of shadow figures up there, just a lot of weirdness. So he was on 2, and then we had another group on 3, and then when we would get finished with our group, we would send them on to the next floor or whatever, and we would take the next group and go through the same spiel. So the guides, the ones that were telling the stories and stuff, stayed on their level. But what happened, it was the first group of the night, and we had a second group of 30 coming later. But Sean had gone up on 2 and had his 10 people with him. And then Yoda and Matthew were at the end of the line, bringing up the rear so they could keep everybody together, that kind of thing in this dark hallway. Because one of Sean's favorite things to do is to go dark and let your eyes adjust and see if you can see those death lights or the shadow man peeking and, different things like that. So they had already gone dark and had started. They were just standing, getting their eyes adjusted, and they had gone up one side of the old hospital. And then they started walking once their eyes adjusted. And they were going to stop at the nurse's station on the west side. They had gone up the west stairwell and were going to stop at the nurse's station there and then pass the elevator section and then go on down to the east section and then go down the stairs there. What happened, they all three came downstairs. Sean, after this was done, said, I've got to go. And I said, you can't go. We've got another group coming. You can't go. And he said, no, I got to get out of here. I've had enough. I can't stay. Ooh. Like, what has happened? And he couldn't talk about it. So he went outside to catch his breath and breathe a little bit. And Yoda and Matthew come up to me and they said, Cyn, something really weird just happened and we don't understand what it was. And I said, well, tell me what happened. And they said, well, Sean, something happened with Sean, but I don't know. But one of them said the hallway, and it's a narrow hallway on the west end, and then it opens up into the elevator area, and then it closes back down. Well, it never opened up at any of the nursing stations. They
just kept going.
Yeah, down that long hallway, and almost like you could touch both sides. And the other one said that they came out at the same stairway or something, but they never turned around. They kept going straight. When Sean came back in, he told me he had seen a little boy, and it was all the way down at the far end of the other side of the hospital, and he watched that little boy and followed him. And when he got down there, there was no little boy. And then they realized, wait a minute, we're on the far end of the hospital. How did that happen? We haven't passed the elevators. We were going to go down toward the operating room. We didn't pass that area. We didn't pass the first nurse's station. That's always where we stop and then go farther. Nothing about that happened. And they all three had different stories. Everything that one of them saw, the other one didn't. Nobody else saw the little boy. Matthew said that the space didn't open up. Nobody else felt that. Yoda had the other idea. It was a different stairway, and everybody was completely different and completely distraught. They were like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Well, it was a time slip, some kind of time slip on the second floor.
They were just getting messed with individually.
Yeah. And that is so weird because they were all in the same group and they all three had a different story to tell, but they were all freaked out, completely freaked out. So
yeah, that's what movie did that? The Shining did that.
Yes.
I think, didn't it? I don't know.
I think it did.
I'm picturing that's just keep
place.
Going.
That's another place I want to go.
Oh yeah, how awesome would that be? I had a Mandela effect with The Shining. I thought it took place in Alaska, and I come back and watched it again, and it took place in Colorado. I'm like, I would have bet money that was Alaska.
No, it was always the Estes area.
Yeah, I know, but I thought it was my whole. That's what I'm telling you. But speaking of that area, one of my guests, Randy Bauer from Black Duck, Minnesota, 40 acres full of Bigfoot.
Nice.
He's not lying. He said that they've estimated about a half a dozen to a dozen.
That they seen?
Yeah, they've seen, detected, can account for. And like this guy's he's 60 years old. He's in Panama City playing guitar or playing he's an audio visual engineer for famous bands, one of which Carrie Underwood. He helped her. But he goes up there, and when I told you before, in my mind, when I had the revelation, this stuff is real. He's the reason it started. I was like, there's no way there's no Bigfoot after talking to him, but he was walking through his property. He knows the property. If you have 40 acres, the 40 acres. And he got moved around like that with 2 or 3 people with him.
Wow.
He said he walked to the back of his property and went behind a tree and like came out, and he was by the spot where the trail started.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. He gets headaches a lot when he's up there, and he gets thrown around a lot. He's had 2 or 3 time slips with him.
Very interesting.
He saw a portal too. He had a guy with him. Saw a portal open up. He said it looked like elevator doors with northern lights in it. Said it looked like an elevator door with northern lights in it, and saw 2 orbs float out, and then started hearing crunching. And the orbs turned into Bigfoot. They went to the gifting area, got 2 or 3 oranges, and went back into the to the portal.
Man.
And this dude's not blowing smoke up anybody's ass either.
Yeah.
That's what'll worry you to death.
Okay, here's something. Just this past week, is it Minnesota and another state were actually able to see the northern lights?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really see the northern lights until you're up in Alaska and Canada, up higher. But what do you think about that? What's happening there?
Yeah, sometimes they come down to Montana.
Do they really?
Yeah, it's not the first time. I was going to say, who told me? I had another Minnesotan post a picture of that. You ever heard of the she squatchers?
The she squatchers. Is that a group?
It's 3 ladies. They're pretty cool. They're coming on actually in a couple of weeks to hear, and I'm going to go on their show. But their strategy is to see how the cryptid activity acts up to them being female.
Yeah,
and they get all kinds of stuff. But yeah, northern Minnesota. She did say I'm not crazy. Told y'all people. But yeah, she posted a picture of the aurora up there.
Yeah. I just wondered if that had something to do with, you were talking about time slips and different kind of things. With that being seen lower and lower, could more strange things start happening?
He just said it. He said it resembled it just in that little area where it opened up. He said the colors resembled. It wasn't like a full blown aurora.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say that it looks like that. Long Island Bigfoot from out there by Montauk. He investigates a lot out there. He says he sees a lot of that. It's crazy. It's crazy that I believe it. I can't believe I'm actually saying it. Woo. Okay.
Now, we've got a road not too far. It's probably between you and me, where you live and where I live. But they've got a Bigfoot crossing sign on it because Bigfoot has been seen so many times on that particular road. They actually have a sign, Bigfoot crossing.
I've probably seen it. Knowing me, I pay attention to that kind of stuff.
I bet you passed it.
Here's Angel asking if your lights flicker all the time.
Yes. Those are my little sugar skulls. They're going on and off.
Yeah, that's the Day of the Dead skulls.
Uh-huh. My husband got those for me for Christmas. He usually surprises me. He got me this for an anniversary. I love my sugar skulls.
I saw that back there. I was just talking about Day of the Dead. I should have put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I love them. I was
going to say that the guy that said he claims held the Bigfoot skull in northern Montana, he runs a Sasquatch page.
Oh, yeah?
He lives out in a cabin by himself in Colorado. I think by himself. He may live with his family. I don't know. Beside the point, but he said if you go out looking for him and start feeling the mind, not mind speak, but I call it the mind fuckery.
Uh-huh.
Headaches, dizzy, disoriented, to leave. And don't gift them. Yeah. And don't gift them food because it gets dangerous if they're actually in the area.
Really?
Because they turn into like, you feed a wild animal till you're out of food, then you're the food.
Ah, yeah.
And they have like a hitchhiker effect.
Really?
Bigfoot do. Yeah, Long Island up there, he says that if he doesn't go to the woods at least once a week, he starts getting rocks thrown at his window.
So he knows to take food and go?
Well, he knows to go talk to them and interact.
Wow.
It's not actually safe to feed them apparently, but Randy in Minnesota feeds them all the time. I think he's got good ones and bad ones. He's had his house broken into.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they broke in and his door was locked. He locked his keys to his house. We're in Wisconsin. He went back home, didn't have the keys to his house, just the spare keys to his truck. Had to use a crowbar to get into his house. And there was ice cream sandwiches eaten and melted on his table, and the sticks were all put in one side of the table. Yo,
Well,
this is
that was a neat person, a neat squatch.
yeah, and like he'll get I don't know if you know it or not, but if they touch something, they have white fingerprints, and it leaves a
White,
residue. Yeah, it leaves a residue, like some kind of, I call it like a primordial, like
like a
maybe whatever.
salt.
Yeah, he it doesn't come off. It's like a paint, almost like it's powder coated.
Oh wow,
If
that's
they touch
interesting.
something, and I wondered, I thought maybe it's like the element where they come from, just our two worlds combining, touching it.
Could be.
It
It
was the
could
side of
be.
his house, like the masonite siding. You know
Uh-huh.
what I'm talking about? It was that, and had a handprint on it. But he also he made a pact with him, like, do you want me to put cameras out here? So he can't put cameras on his property anymore because they kept destroying them. He said they ripped the game camera off the tree, twisted it off the tree with the strap, and put two limbs with an X across it on top of it. And the game camera had the handprint on the front, on the front of the
Yeah.
camera was all white fingerprints. He's got pictures of it.
Wow. They really did not want to
Yeah.
be
Dude, that stuff
sitting.
worries me to death because what if it's real?
Well, I mean,
Yeah. It hurts me. I want it to be real so bad.
a bunch of people have seen them. I've not seen one of those, but I'm not going to say they're not out there because too many people have seen them.
Mm-hmm. Too many people, like regular people, have seen them too.
Yes, yes, and people that you would go, okay, he's not crazy.
Yeah, this
I
guy I'm
know
talking to,
he's
not.
telling the truth. Yeah, yeah.
Like
But,
the ghost thing, like my top three, my favorite is Bigfoot because I got the hat. See?
right,
My,
right.
my top three is Bigfoot, and it's UFOs and ghosts, and they kind of like trade back and forth like some kind of crazy tournament. And I think ghosts take a spot. They get, because I know they're real. I know those are real. I don't have a doubt in my mind that, like the stuff you deal with, I think anybody could probably hang out and investigate for 6 weeks and find something to prove
Yeah.
them. But the Bigfoot thing, you almost have to. The ones I've talked to, everybody had like a TBI or something, some kind of horrible trauma to be able to see Bigfoot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a lot of people who, a lot of guys like the one I was talking about, Long Island, he got hit with an IED in Iraq, came back, and then he starts interacting with them, meets them in the woods. And people that have near-death experiences, that sort of opens up for them too.
My friend Mark, he has always been psychic. He's always been gifted, but until he was beat up so bad that they left him to die,
Mm-hmm.
and they took him he was taken to the hospital. He died on the table 2 or 3 times. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but when he did come out of all that trauma, he was able to see all of these ghosts and all these spirits and all these weird things that float around us at all times and see them vividly. So there's something to trauma and almost like a switch in your head that gets switched so that you can see differently or, hear differently or whatever. But
what I compare it to, it's like it's like scar tissue almost to your psyche.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it occurs a lot in kids who had really, really bad things happen to them when they were like around 4 or 5. They always grow up with that kind of ability too, because it's the same level of trauma to your brain.
Mm-hmm. Well, and 2, really, kids can see more than we as adults can anyway. And we're just told, you don't see anything. No, you don't see that. You don't see that. And so then we start believing, no, we don't see that. And we lose the ability.
Yep.
But we're all born with being able to see more than we allow us to. I had someone ask at this recent investigation, why do you always investigate in the dark? Well, you don't have to, because ghosts don't care what time of day it is. If there's a haunting, they will show up any hour of any day. But it's easier for us to investigate in the dark because when we turn the lights out, when we turn all as much stimulus off that we can, then our ears prick up a little bit more. They're able to hear better, and our night vision gets better. And so we're able to not look at all of the stimuli that we see during the day, and we can focus easier at night. So anyway,
like super sensitive.
Yeah.
What did Angel say here? Some people have more connection to them. I definitely don't. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm kind of counting my blessings that stuff just doesn't pop up for me now.
Well, the more you talk about it, though,
I know,
the more involved you get.
I know. I've been checking around. I've been digging into this shit lately, and it's been like I got to stop.
Yeah, if you don't want things to happen to you, you kind of got to stop. But
I won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
There you go.
There you go. I don't think it's trauma, but connections to angels or higher forces. Okay.
It could be. Could very well be. Yeah, it could very well be.
It's a lot of the same people that have that kind of issue that get the UFO thing going too, the abductee.
Yeah.
Now I'm on the fence with the. I think it happens. Maybe I go kind of woo woo on that kind of thing because, like I said, every time somebody comes on here, their word is 100% until it's over. But like it's always something. The ones that have the wildest stories always have some crazy stuff going on in childhood.
Yeah.
Like you're like, is that like a mechanism by your brain, or do you really have?
Oh no! Oh no! I'm falling in the background.
We're wrecking your man. We had, like I told you, Randy from Minnesota on here. He does a thing where he goes in the woods and like, hey guys, he always does it. Show even if I'm on the phone, he'll say, okay, I told him. I said, hey guys, it's Randy again. He'll ask him to do him a favor. Put peanut butter jars in certain order. They put the jars in certain colors. Jif is red and Peter Pan's yellow, and Skippy is smoother than a fresh jar. Skippy is blue. And they'll put them in groups of colors together, stuff like that. And hey guys, some pictures of them. It's insane. But he did it one here. We're sitting on this call, and the first call with Randy, my stuff starts messing up. Every 5 minutes. My stuff's never messed up. My router goes out. My computer freezes up. My fan's going, I got a MacBook. I got good shit over here. And my stuff, and I'm coming back. I'm like, sorry, I dropped again. And this is crazy.
That is just what it's easier for them to use. That power, that
dude,
energy.
They screw with it hard. He goes, hey guys, it's Randy. We're sitting on the call. I think this is a separate one with my co-host who also had that show. And when he was on there, hey guys, it's Randy. If you're if you're listening, can you do something to prove you're here? Then Randy drops off. Right when he got through with the sentence, I'm like, son of a bitch, this is happening.
Yeah, you just never know. There you go.
He's talking about that interference when he was on this one with me. My stuff's just breaking. I'm like, what in the hell, man? Like it was like coming. So that's why I know it's possibly a hitchhiker from just doing this. I was tripping. I'm like, my stuff's never broke.
They're everywhere.
My stuff hasn't broke. This stuff hasn't broke since. That was October.
To knock on wood. You need to knock on wood.
I'm just. It's a sample size. What did Angel say? Oh, Scotty B said solar flares caused it last week. I think Scotty B lives somewhere up there too, or does he? I don't know. I get them mixed up. I know I got a bunch of guys from around Europe that jump on it, and I don't know I guess people don't sleep in Europe. I don't know. They're always anytime I come on here, I got Scotty B, I got Welcome to the Show. And what's the other guy? John P. Adventures. He hasn't been on here. He's in Spain, I think.
Nice.
But I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. It's been an hour and a half. Sunday night.
Oh wow, has it really?
Yeah, and I don't want to keep you too late.
That went quick.
I know. And I got Eric Sims. Who else do I have? Did I tell you how I did that? I went to Tennessee Hauntings, and anybody that had paranormal in their little blurb underneath it, I just messaged.
Right. And then you've got something that you do, a number system thing, and
yeah. Did I tell you about that?
You told me something, and it just happened to pick Tennessee.
Yeah, random number generator, and I picked the number of the Union in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I did Delaware. I was going to ask you. I did Delaware last month. There's a Delaware City Ghost Hunter Society. I was going to ask you where you got that shirt.
This one?
Yeah, how do I get one of those shirts?
I'll have to see if I've got the size. What size?
I wear XL now.
I'll
those
look.
Those guys, I'll pay for it. I don't care. Those guys sent me one. I was like, what? I had like all Delaware in March and February.
Nice. Very nice.
None of them like Joe Biden, though. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah,
seems to be a rift
here. I don't care for him, but that's just me.
I asked every one of them, not a one. Not trending well in Delaware. I was like, what about that other famous Delaware? He goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
They just don't want to talk about it.
No, yeah. It was hilarious. Like, wow,
we're in trouble. We're in trouble for this next election. You know that.
All of them.
I'm telling you, every one of them. We're in trouble.
It scares me sometimes. I gotta quit thinking about it.
I know. There's too much going on. Way too much going on.
Okay, so I got.
You're trying to bring it in for a landing, and I keep talking. I apologize.
No, you're not. I was looking to see who I had. I'll just end it if I have to. Screw it live. Screw it, everybody. No, I've got no. I was looking to see if you might know these other guys. We got Casey Sinise from Wisconsin. Eric Murphy. He's from Tennessee, Memphis. Oh, the She Squatchers is next Wednesday. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to invite myself to a podcast up there somehow. If you do any kind of investigation that might be conducive to a live recording or anything like this, just let me know and I'll see what I can do.
Definitely will do. Yes, definitely.
I could definitely hang out. I could definitely hang out with you guys if they're all like you. Fit right in.
Yeah, I mean, what you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way.
It's kind of what I figured was going to happen.
Yeah, right. And so, you probably want to hook in with Eric because he's got his own podcast too. So you can be a guest on his. Yeah,
I'll interject over there too.
Yeah.
There's one guy that goes live from Dothan, and he does a radio show, but I don't know how often he wants me on. It was called Church of Mavis. I talk to him every once in a while, but I'm his guy. He calls when his guest cancels. I'm like, okay, I'll be that guy.
Tell him he can call me too.
Yeah. I'm not like Jennifer Nettles. I don't mind being used.
Hey, listen, when you ask me, is this Sunday? Will that work?
Yep.
I'm here. Yeah, it works. I'm good.
I'll add you to the list of people who can be called.
Yes.
I've got a short list of those.
Just put me on that list. I'll be on there. No problem. Enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, it's always a good time. People that come in, not necessarily like you, but people who tell the stories that are actually like in a state of trauma after some of their stories like makes them feel weird. Mm-hmm. They always say they like talking to me the best because I'll just let them go and I don't sit here and judge them.
Well, yeah,
like,
and
well,
no, yeah, because
why would I do that?
Been through, so
I'll judge you after the podcast to my family.
Yeah,
like a good Southerner when they're not around.
And bless their little hearts.
Bless her heart. She thinks she saw a ghost.
Bless her.
I knew they was putting that stuff in that sun drop. It just proves it.
Mm-hmm. And she got a hold of the wrong casserole.
She got a hold of the wrong. God, I can't think of the restaurant in Lynchburg now. Mama Bobo's.
Miss Bobo's.
Sweet Mary Bobo's.
Miss Bobo's. I haven't been there in years, but she's still cooking.
That's how far the reservation list is out, so it's going to take a while.
Exactly. Yes.
You scheduled one before COVID. You got in 2026.
I'm telling you, 2020, March 2020. That was the start of all the craziness.
that was when I started gaining weight again.
Yeah, I think
She
everybody
says,
did.
better be careful. You might have to get dragon visitors when you talk to me. You know, I don't mind a little Daenerys Targaryen action. Yeah, she sees all kinds of stuff. Tarot reading.
I bet she does.
Can't
Absolutely.
imagine. Fairies. Goodness. All right. Well, I am going to bring it in for a landing just for the people watching. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Check out, oh my gosh, elkvalleyparanormal.com. All kinds of cool stuff. And bobbydizzle.com. And subscribe. Please subscribe. Anybody that's not, you better do it. I'm trying to quit my job and do this for a living. Peace.